What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. I have been working on a little project, well starting yesterday really at the point of recording this, and what it consists of is every single Supercross track that exists in MX Bikes I'm going to do a lap of and just compile it all into one video. Now, at the point of making this, there is 164 tracks in total that I can find. Now, this is everything prior to Beta 4, because tracks prior to Beta 4 don't work anymore. And there's probably a handful of tracks as well that the links are just non-existent for anymore. There used to be a website called MXB Central, which is no longer up and available. So there's probably maybe 170, 180 maximum I would have thought. As I say, there's a handful in there that I can't do. But whilst I was going through it, I thought it'd be a cool idea if I play the oldest available track. And this is round 2 of the 2016 AMA Championship in San Diego. And this has been made by Asriel. And it's really, really cool, actually, going almost like back in time to see where we've come from and where we're going to end up to eventually. And that's kind of the whole point behind the video that I want to make. Now, you probably won't see that video for a couple of weeks, purely because I want to wait to the end of the Aerial Supercross Championship to release it. I just didn't see much point if I do it up until maybe like round 15 or whatever, when I just need to wait another 2 weeks for the last few rounds to come out. But it's just a really cool concept, and I won't lie, it's there's a hell of a lot more tracks than I anticipated. As I say, my goal is just to do one lap of every track, see how it goes, and as you can imagine, if there's 160 plus tracks, I mean, a lot of tracks you average about a minute or so lap time. Some tracks a little bit less, some tracks a little bit more. So if you do just average about a minute per track, then, and that's not even considering the laps that I mess up on, because I want to do a clean lap per track, then the video itself will come out at about 2 hours 40-ish, maybe 3 hours in total. And then the recording side of things obviously is going to take a hell of a lot longer, and the editing is going to take even longer than that. But it's a nice little project that I think I'm working on. I've never had something that's taken me a good few weeks to work on before, so I'm quite excited for that. And hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. The only thing that I'm thinking of, which I would like some comments please on the best way of doing this, is so I've made a spreadsheet. I went through all of the forums, I went through MXB mods as well. I've got all of the tracks in date order, who they're made by, I've got the download links for them as well. But it's all in like an Excel sheet. But it's a sheet under like my personal stuff, but I want to know what would be the best way of compiling it all together so you guys can then go and download whichever track out of that video you want to. Now, I would just put it in the description, as I normally do. However, obviously that's far too many characters for a YouTube description, so I'm wondering the best way of doing it. I don't want to kind of compile all of the downloads together into one actual download pack, because that would just be ridiculously big, and I don't want all that in my folder in one go. I'll be kind of adding and deleting them as I go and as I finish recording them. But do let me know the best way of doing that, or maybe even if I don't do that and just kind of write the names of all the tracks in the order that they appear, that could also work, because let's be honest, with a 5-minute Google search, like they're all on the forums or the MXB mod site, and you can just type their names in. It shouldn't take too long. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. What's the best way of getting that list out there to you guys as well? And let me know if you're excited to see it as well, because the last video I done where I was kind of covering all tracks, I think I did cover all of the stock tracks in the game, and then I think I also done another video covering all of the 2021 aerial tracks, and I quite enjoyed doing those. Don't get it twisted. I will not be talking for the entire 2 to 3 hours. It'll just be raw video with just an overlay of what tracks, well, what the name of the tracks are, who they're made by, and so on and so forth. Yeah, really excited for that. So this track right here, for the very first Supercross track I have found, or can play really, very good. Oh, as I mess up there. And I thought it was only right if we hop on the MSM and the stock Proboso gear just to throw it right back. Now, this track was released in, well, it's the start of June, I want to say, June 2016. There was a beta for this track at the end of May 2016. However, on the forum post Asriel specifically, just don't download it. Download the updated version, which we've got here. He started on round 2 and then worked backwards, went to round 1, and he's got round 3. And I can't remember off the top of my head if he's done any of the other ones after that point. But it's quite nice kind of going from the aerial tracks that we do every week to something a bit easier. And you have to remember, a lot of these tracks made back then were made when the game didn't handle how it handles now. MX Bikes wasn't really, from what I've been told, wasn't that suitable for Supercross back then. A lot of people struggle with it now, but if there's people telling me that it was even worse back then, I dread to think of what it was like. And unfortunately, I don't think I have access to go back and play things as early as like Beta 4, for example. And funnily enough, in the list that I've made, there was not one Supercross track released in the year 2017. And I asked a couple of the OGs why, and their opinion on it is that apparently, I think that was around Beta 7-ish time, I believe. And apparently Beta 7 traction was absolutely unreal, like almost unplayable, and a lot of people stopped playing the game. So for all of you guys that are saying Beta 17 sucks, I am included in the traction side of things. I want it to be worked on. Just think that there was a time where it was even worse. So count your lucky stars, you know? Like, don't take for granted what you've got, because let's be honest, with the Beta 17 traction, you can get the hang of it. It's not the end of the world. I dread to think of what the Beta 7 was like. I'll have to go digging through YouTube and see if I can find any gameplay. It was quite nice as well when I was doing the research. In a lot of the forum posts used to have like preview videos, like people would make a YouTube lap of the track. So even if they were like the super old ones that I couldn't download or play anymore, it was nice just seeing what they looked like and just how far the game in general has come, because the OEMs didn't exist back then. It was purely all MSMs, which I imagine is why there's a few dedicated people still hanging around. But I couldn't imagine if that was still the case today, we'd have as big of a community as we do. So at the same time, don't take all of our content creators for granted. You know, say thank you to the track creators when they release a track, or like just thank the OEM people that have made the OEMs as well. And they won't be around forever, and we'll certainly miss them when they're gone. I keep completely butchering this rhythm section. I guess it's meant to go like triple, single, or maybe a quad in there somewhere. But I am only on the MSM 250. I'm sure if I hopped on the 450 or 350 maybe, that I might be able to do a little bit of a better job. But I quite often get asked, are there any good beginner Supercross tracks? Just play something like this, you know? There was nothing too detailed about these tracks back then. They had very limited experience and probably tools as well to work with. So seeing what people can create is really, really cool. There's one track that I have downloaded which is Milestone MX, but it is a Supercross track. And that itself is really, really cool as well, and quite surprising for a track of its age, again 2016, to ride and flow as well as it does. And it just goes to show, I mean, this track's made by Asriel. He's still kicking about today. He's still releasing content for us today. As of recently, it's more so been on the assets side of things. He's released a whole bunch of like banners and arches and stuff for other content creators to use and make on their tracks, which is just really, really nice that people care enough about the community and want other people to learn and be able to use their stuff. He's gone and made that. And I mean, all of the recent tracks that I've played by him, I think in, what one was it? It was one of his most recent Millville that he released. I really, really enjoyed as well. So, and then if you take that, like if you take Millville compared to what I'm riding right now, it's night and day difference. You know, it's actually unreal. And looking at the shapes of jumps, like those on-offs there, if you compare them to what we ride now on the aerial tracks, big difference. Nice, completely smooth track here, whereas we've got ruts in the more modern tracks as well. So I just feel like it's come a long way. And for someone like me who has never made a track, probably never will, purely based on time. I know a hell of a lot of time and effort goes into these things. It's nice seeing the progression and seeing how far track making in general has come. And if it wasn't like the OG people like Asriel, Rubes, TFC, G-Dub, all of those really old school people, Big Smooth one as well, we done a bunch of Supercross tracks, I think for the Backyard series a couple years ago, then we wouldn't really be where we are today. I mean, if you go up on YouTube and have a look at TFC's tutorials, you can see how many thousands of views they've all got from people looking to get into track making. It's also quite funny to see it's broken into a couple of episodes, and episode 1 has a hell of a lot more views than the rest. I'm guessing everyone watched episode 1 was like, oh my god, this is actually a lot harder than I thought it was, and then they dipped out and didn't watch the rest. But I quite like when we get a new post on the MXB Mods website and it says, this is my first track, and give feedback, etc. And it excites me because, first of all, I like seeing what people make for their first track. I just love seeing the progress as well. And one person, probably make him smile as I say this in this video, that it was quite nice seeing the progress, was Higo, and he does a lot of the Australian tracks, and it was just quite nice seeing his tracks just get better and better and better. And I've played every single one of his, and when you compare his first track to his latest one. Again, it's night and day difference, and I mean, practice makes perfect, as they say at the end of the day, and that goes for both getting good at the game and being good at track building. And if you haven't given track building a go and you've got some spare time on your hands, then just go for it. You know, the tools that you need are out there, the documentation's out there. We've got the MX Bikes wiki, we've got videos by people like TFC, and I'm sure if you ask in Discord as well, people will be more than happy to help you. Maybe one day I'll get around to it. Maybe if I ever do YouTube as like a full-time thing and I've got some spare time throughout the day when I'm not doing a day job. We shall see, but who knows. And honestly, I think that would do it for me. You can see it's a very nice, easy, straightforward track. It flows quite nicely. I do like that section I've just gone through, that triple single. And I might hop on a 450 after this and see if I can hit any big boy lines, see what I can do. But I hope you've enjoyed this video as well. I'll leave the download link to this track in the description, as always, if you want to give it a go. And keep an eye out in the next couple of weeks for that video that's going to be coming out. Going to be a hell of a lot of effort put into it, so I would really appreciate if you guys could give it a watch as and when it comes out. But that'll do it from me. I hope you've had a... well, I hope you've had a nice experience watching this. I was jumping the gun a little bit there. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever it is that you're up to. That's what I was meant to say. And until I catch you in the next video, peace.
I'm working hard, I'm sacrificing my life, I'm sacrificing my mind, I'm sacrificing my sanity, but most importantly, I'm sacrificing my time. Boy, I feel fine, I feel like I am a king. Honestly, I can't complain. Even with faith that's the size of a grain of some salt, I will still move a mountain and do what I want. I got